we had to show, we had the technical capability, and we're determined. History demonstrates impossibly that wishing to compete is as sure as possible.
So we got two in already. I'm gonna give a little bit people a little bit of time to come in. I never can figure out what's going to be the thing that gets people to come in or not. What day, what time. It's like 5 o'clock here in Arizona, so like it'd be like 7 o'clock on the East Coast. So I don't know what people are up to or anything, but anyway, I am Matthew Reel, the author, and I'm welcoming everybody to today's live stream, another episode of Rude Awakenings. We're up to 3 now. So yeah, I have a quick announcement. I am going to be taking a break part of this week. I just simply need to. So like I'm not going to be having an episode on Tuesday. I should have an episode on Friday, but if I make any changes and make any changes along the way, I will certainly let everybody know. How's it going? Slot it up. Glad to see you. But yeah, in order for me to have an episode by Tuesday, I'd have to film it tonight, and I just need a break. So I'm not going to have an episode on Tuesday, but I should be getting back to my regularly scheduled program here by later in the week. And then, for the people who watch this on replay, just a reminder that the January giveaway is still ongoing. We got Avengers number 52. First appearance of Grim Reaper and Black Panther joins the Avengers. So we got a nice little key going on right there. And that is going away to a lucky viewer at the end of the month. I also have another backup prize that's also going out. It's a little bit of a mystery box. Oh, shit. Seth is in the house. I keep wanting to stop using in the house, but here we go. We got Seth is in the house. Ice, ice. Nice. For people who don't know, Seth is the composer to the original music on this program, and also is one of his alter ego, so to speak, from his band, the Sweat Band, is in my book, Bad Thing. So he is here tonight. So I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, I'm just giving everybody a little bit more time. Simply because I want to make sure in the house, okay, it's going to be a good show no matter what. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to give people a little bit more time to come on in. But yeah, I'm going to be taking a break on Tuesday. I just I need a little bit of break. I also want to recalibrate a few things. If you've been watching the channel, you might be noticing that I've been putting some more movie content in my programming, and that is deliberate. I want to, as much as I've been collecting comic books, movies have been sort of, where I cut my teeth at pop culture wise. And so, like, I'm going to be incorporating. It's not like I'm going to be I'm not like I'm going to be cutting back on Cape shit. It's more along the lines of that I'm going to be expanding. And then also, if you've noticed behind me, I have a new setup here. So I was hoping to have a little bit more fancy of a setup tonight, but it wasn't ready for prime time, so that'll have to be another time. But yeah, I'll just want to recap for people who come in, as we go along. But yeah, I'm going to be expanding content. I just got a shipping notice that the 500 giveaway prize is just been shipped. So I should be able to give everybody a closer look at that. Probably in about a week or so, however long the mail takes. I have like packages that are still, on their way. And I have no idea when they're going to get here. So that's that. Okay, so what I have tonight, about 2002, 2001, 2002, shortly after I moved here to Arizona, one of the things I used to do after I went to class and things like that is I'd take the bus over to the Borders that was over at our mall, and I'd spend several hours inside the Borders coffee shop just drinking tea, reading magazines, and writing stuff down in my journal. And I often wrote like a whole bunch of short stories during that time period. And I sent some off to possibly be published, and I had not heard anything. And as the years went by, it's like, I didn't really hear anything. So about 2008, I found my name on eBay, and I looked, and there was a magazine there that had one of my short stories, and it was a little thriller magazine from little science fiction and thriller magazine from the UK. And I remember I had sent it there, and like they were supposed to be sending me copies of it if but I had no idea. This is like 7 years later. So I bought it. That was like the only copy I've ever seen. And right now that copy's sitting back in Europe because I gave it to my wife, and it's in her mom's house right now. But I haven't seen another copy since. And I just happened to, a couple months back, I happened to find somebody on eBay that had it. So I'm going to take a look. Yeah, I've not looked at this in years. And, well, this would be something that would be interesting to share with everybody tonight, because like this is actually it's got a short story in it I'm very proud of. I'm gonna go buy new gloves. This won't stay put anymore. But yeah, this is a short story I'm still very proud of. And yeah, I wrote it while I was in Borders after class. They'd have like some dickhead would be in there on like weekends. They brought in like the same new age fucking keyboardist, and he'd be like coming in there and he'd be playing the same like arpeggio scales, and he was like, I had like this bald head, and he was just sort of like had this like he looked like Andrew Zimmern, and he just sort of like had like the smug face as he's playing this new age shit. And like he'd drive me nuts. I think I wrote this. While I was listening. So it was a small magazine. It was a small magazine. There were probably only like a couple hundred copies that were printed. And it's in the UK. It's like I had no idea. So like I don't think the magazine's been, around for like 15 years. So like, these are like probably some of the last copies on earth, to be honest with you. But yeah, that new agey shit got like under my skin. I'm sitting there trying to read magazines and write shit, and like the guy's like keyboard, crap, you know, is like lilting to the heavens. And I'm sitting there in my own little private hell trying to enjoy my tea. And I think like this story came out of it. But yeah, I've not seen a copy of this in like 10 years. They packed it up good. Yeah, it came all the way from the UK. The eBayer is not the publisher. He's got like some memorabilia and stuff like that. He just happened to have like multiple copies of it. And yeah. So here we go. Yeah, I got all 8 copies. Probably the rarest thing I have. So we got his card here. Yeah, he's got his eBay account is called Film Bazaar. He sells film and television memorabilia. So that's appropriate. So I'm going to I'll put his eBay account into the description later. I won't have a chance. I did too. I liked hanging out in it because I'd sit down and I'd read magazines. But like the you know, like the prices on everything was like full blown retail. I like going in there looking for like rare out of print DVDs because they usually would have a lot of them. I'd go in, I'd find them, and then I'd flip them on eBay. But the you know, like that's part of the problem is that, you know, it's like the box stores always sell things at retail back then, you know, so like they couldn't compete with, you know, Amazon or whatever. But, you know, it's like I'm not going to pay, you know, like $29.99 for a DVD that I can, you know, get, you know, on Amazon for, you know, $15, right? So there it is. Lighthouse magazine. It's got, I always laughed when I saw it the first time that Joan Collins was on the cover. And we have Ted V. Mickles. He just, did he just die? I can't remember. The only movie of his I can think of off the top of my head, he did Blood Farmers. And let's see, Eric Van Lustbader is in this, Australian Short Film Festival, Promised Land. Alan D. Foster, Brian Lumley, Pete Burns, Jail, and Kim Newman. So that is the, I find it funny that I share work with Joan Collins on the cover. This is in great condition. But this issue is from 2003. And let's see if I can find it. Because I had, I've seen this in a long time. This is my first published work. So this is my first appearance. So. Number 24. You gotta give me a second here. I'm going to find this for everybody. But they saved number 24, but like they didn't number the pages. So like I have no idea where I'm at in here. Here we are. Here we are. Here's my short story. And what I like about this is that they went as far as like putting a little illustration in this. So like I was really like surprised when I first saw this. It's got like a little illustration in here, which is appropriate to the story actually. But yeah, so we're up to 8 people. So those that are just coming in, this is my short story that was published in Lighthouse magazine back in 2003. And I have not seen this in many, many years. If you want, I can read it for you. It's just like a page and a half long, but yeah, this was a nice little magazine. It was like definitely more of an underground type magazine. It's like more towards speculative fiction and stuff like that. but yeah, I used to. This was in line with the kind of magazines I used to like read that one goth magazine, Propaganda, and that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like the interiors are all like that or whatever. But yeah, so like I did. This is my. I've been thinking about sending off a copy to CGC because I know that they do magazine grading. And it'd just be funny to have like one of my own stories and encapsulated in what did I say the other day, encapsulated graded sequential art periodical. So like that's what it is. But yeah, the name of my story is Earworm. And the funny thing is I read this recently, and like the when I wrote Bad Things, I wrote Bad Things when Lady Gaga was just hitting huge. And Seth can attest to this because him and I would have like conversations about this all every night because like he was helping me develop some of these characters. And it's like when I was writing this, it's like this was at the height of like Lady Gaga. And then as the years went on, it's like Lady Gaga was still popular, but Lady Gaga was still popular, but she sort of went by the wayside. And then it was like Miley Cyrus. And then, it's like pop music has sort of gone by the wayside a little bit again. When I wrote this, boy bands were like the big thing. I'm like, it's the entire story is about a guy watching, it's about a guy, watching his TV, like watching TV, and it's like nothing but boy band music. The name of his Earworm. So even when he'd flip through the channel, like that boy band shit was going through his head and he couldn't shut it off. So he blew his brains out. But even though he blew his brains out, his body was still intact. So like that song was, forever going through his head, even as he's like getting an autopsy and shit on him. So the funny thing about this is that I had ended this in mid-sentence initially. I always like the concept of, stories that would just end in mid-sentence because it's sort of like a stream of consciousness night story, but like the editor of the magazine finished the sentence for me. So but I find that funny. But yeah, Super Mole Retro is in the house. I'm glad to see you, dude. I actually have your box right here. But yeah, I should sign it and get a yellow label. Yeah, spec book, first appearance of the author. It is true. It is true. But yeah, Seth can attest to all that. He was there through like the entire creative process So while people are still here, Super Mole Retro, I'm going to open your box. I am going to give some cape shit to everybody. So, but yeah, I can't imagine that magazine has anything more than like 300 copies or whatever. And over the years, I'm sure like they've all been like thrown away or lost. And so like that's probably like some of the last copies in existence. So anyway, this is Super Mole Retro's box. He's got a new box. He has a new run anyway. I had purchased some of his past ones, and they're actually really good boxes. For the price, you get them like fairly cheap on eBay. And yeah, I was excited a couple weeks ago when I saw that he had new listings online. I think you got listed on like the package Super Mole sales. Is that what you said? So like I have no idea what's in it, but like I was really satisfied for the most part. The boxes I opened from them in the past. So it's like before I do any reading or anything like that, it's like I'm going to give some people some cape shit, give them what they want because that seems to be what my audience likes. So anyway, how many? Yeah, the post office has been The post office has been kind of fucked up. But yeah, it got here just fine. I have no idea how many books are in this. Holy shit. I think I got the key issue right away. Got the Mighty Thor number 203, first team appearance of the Young Gods. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is like, for the price you can't beat this. So like that's great. And that's one of the things I've been working on lately is my Thor collection. So we have here Tales to Astonish starring the Submariner number 5. So that is already you're speaking to me, dude. So Tales to Astonish starring the Submariner number 4. That's fantastic. Oh man. I got that throat shit's coming back to me a little bit in waves. Yeah. Man, it's like this time of year, every now and then, like I just lose my voice and I feel like man. The Invincible Iron Man, number 132. Look at that. So you've stepped up your game, dude. This is like definitely a great box. I love this cover. I used to love it. I used to try to like copy this cover back in middle school. No joke. Like I'd try to I'd like draw this in my Trapper Keeper. It's like got Dr. Doom eye. You can't really see it with the glare. But yeah, I've always loved that cover. One of the things I collected early on was Iron Man. So that's you've definitely stepped up your game. I put that mutant bullshit box over here. That was originally going to be for like horror comics, but I need to expand because I figure I'm going to end up getting some more Marvel and I need to make up space. So like, yeah, all this Marvel you've given me, dude, like I definitely have a place to put it now. Mystery Incorporated. I think I remember this. Mystery Incorporated number 1. And then Futures End number 20. I didn't read any of this. But that cover is great. And then Astonishing X-Men. No. Ah. I got a table here now, so it isn't damaged, but like I'll put this in the special box. It's like that's the way these boxes go. But like there we go. So we have Jane Foster Thor action figure variant of Secret Wars. So that's reasonable. That's reasonable. And then we have this Tim Seeley book. I like Tim Seeley. Revival. I'm not really familiar with this. But there we go. Number 20. So that is the Super Mole Retro book. You've stepped up your game, dude. You've stepped up your game. I'm definitely looking forward to trying more. So you might get an order from me here, order or 2, maybe even 3 here in the coming weeks. That is a perfect kind of books for this kind of format. So anyway, I'm glad a lot of you stuck by. So like this is just a reminder for people coming in. Avengers number 52 is this month's giveaway. So what you need to do is you need to comment on my videos from January. You need to be a United States resident or have arrangements and subscribe. It's as simple as that. Now I'm going to do, if I do a video on Tuesday, it might just be a reminder video, but yeah, I am taking a break on Tuesday. I just simply need it. So Let me recalibrate here for just a second, and I will be right back. That StreamYard countdown music is banging, but Seth can do better. Seth, you think you could yank out like a little 30-second timer thing for me? But yeah, so Earworm by Matthewdreel in the pages of Lighthouse Magazine. What number is that? December 2003. It's number 2. If any of you find any more copies of this out there, let me know. Let me know. I'll snag them. So here we have it. So why is it in severe cases of earworm, is it always the song that you hate the most? Or rather a song you failed to acquaint yourself with properly and which assaults your audible memory and repetitive segments? Even something timeless like Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin could wear out its welcome over a period of time. But in cases of earworm, a song never has the opportunity to become like fine wine, this coming from a beer man, and instead drives you to the point of madness. A friend in college called it earworm, and considering the passage of time has probably spanned a course of several weeks, the only point of reference is this unspeakable tune. Even now, I am unable to lance it from my brain, and to think that in some social circles, the term boy band has a positive connotation. I couldn't think of anything more derogatory. Unfortunately, I was a bit proactive and heedless of warnings against such a sin. For if I have not undone it already, the song would be bad enough to plant a bullet in fresh gray matter. Looking back on it now, one could recognize the usage of hard drugs seemed to be a relatively rare phenomenon at one point. At the time, the only addicts were those who had them prescribed from their doctor. Alcohol has always remained a constant in societal self-medication, but it doesn't come as a surprise to me that the world's epidemic of nosebleeds and separated veins grew with the progress of television. Now music videos and commercials segue seamlessly until one can no longer distinguish where one ends and another begins. I shouldn't have left the TV on. Everybody speaks of a tunnel of light followed by a warm, soothing sensation, and everything is downright peachy. Have you ever wondered why people come back after they've reached the end? I don't remember that. That must have been a mistake on my part. There was a tunnel of light, all right, but you know what happens next? The light begins to dim. Imagine the same sensation of being blinded by a flash of illumination or ignoring your mother and staring into that eclipse anyway. The brightness burns into your vision, but eventually sight returns. Well, the brightness faded and I saw my life flash before my eyes. That's what I imagined until I realized I was staring into the TV. So instinctively, I reached for the remote until I realized I was completely unable to perform this simple task. And that's when the realization that I couldn't even blink came to me. And so I was staring into what seemed like an endless barrage of music videos, one right after the other. The smell of beer was driving me into a private frenzy. I could see the bottle tipped over the edge of my vision. The need was so terrible that I could have drank an entire six-pack on the spot. And there it was, nearly empty, just a few feet from me. I remember trying to reach through will alone. The lager was mixing with blood, and that seemed to cover everything. The carpet was stained pretty badly, and I remember the absurd thought of panicking over losing the security deposit. The walls will definitely need repainting. Such were the thoughts I entertained myself with, serving to distinct from the hellish barrage of pop music. I'm assuming that I can still see, but now it's just too dark to tell. Perhaps too dark to see my hand in front of my face. Oh, an experiment to try. Thankfully, the television is gone. but its memory plagues me still. I will not succumb to it. I have devised methods to keep such a demon at bay. In this darkness, I would like to entertain the idea that I have been successful in my efforts, but I am unable to measure the results. Still, through a strenuous level of effort and concentration, I believe I may have opened an eyelid. I have no way of knowing if my hard hours or days worth of work paid off, but it's nice to think I may have succeeded. The commercials I could live with. Such interludes I found to be quite peaceful. But just as the eye must pass over with its false sense of calm, the commercial must come to an end. Once again, hell continues its bombardment. To think that there are millions of youth that actually pay to experience this endlessly. If rage or madness were enough, I would have flailed out of this room under a passing train. Salvation did come in a form. I heard knocking on my front door. Then I heard a muffled voice from outside. I couldn't identify the sound at first, but realization that my landlord may have heard the shot came as a great relief. Yet the waiting seemed unbearable. It seemed as if an age had passed before any help arrived. Eventually, I heard the muffled sound of a CB radio outside the door. I couldn't tell from this angle whether the flashing lights were coming from the parking lot, but I was fairly certain that the police had arrived. Excuse me. Sure enough, my apartment soon was invaded with the city's finest police officers, paramedics, forensic lads, and ladies, and finally the coroner, after they had seemed satisfied that I was dead. Yet the entire process took forever, and even with these people milling about, they still cannot drown out the TV. The anticipation was maddening. I had attempted to scream, and yet the hellish din continued. I suppose I should have written a note after all. I had thought about it more than once. However, I came to the conclusion that the television was note enough. Then, of course, what the hell did I have to say? How bad my life sucked. And who the hell would have read it anyway? In the end, the note's absence probably required extensive study to rule out foul play, so there I lie as people poke and prod till finally my line of sight indicated that I was being lifted, and then some darkness as a blanket was placed over my head. I couldn't sense movement, with the exception and royal bliss of hearing the television's drone become dimmer until fading completely. Finally, the sound of a car door and a motor starting. Being dead has the same sensation as your leg falling asleep. My leg's actually falling asleep, by the way. Except in this case, from the head to toe tag, like your body is capable of performing as before. You just gotta wait for the blood to return to your extremities. While you're waiting, you have this blanket covering your head. I didn't really care, for I finally had some well-deserved peace and quiet. When my vision returned, I found I was in a brightly lit room with people wandering hither and thither. They were wearing surgical masks. This was something I never expected. I had a front row seat for my own autopsy, which actually turned out to be somewhat anticlimactic because it had the same effect of being at the dentist. You couldn't see what you're doing, but you know it's messy. They make it sound more complicated than it is. I found it strange that the cause of death is an obvious one. A gaping hole in the skull should be a clue, yet they always had to cut you up. I've seen the video of this kind of thing, a long Y-shaped gash that runs from neck to pubic bone, but at this angle, all I could be offered was an occasional glimpse as he played around with my intestines and vitals, and once seemed satisfied, he just threw them in the cavity any which way. Leftover brain matter as well. Bone saws, rib spreaders, got scalpels, disinfectant, whatever. See gaping hole, check for powder burns, write an epitaph on my toe, and ship me out. That simple. I think some people have just repressed necrophiliac urges. It's bad enough to fondle your insides. I mean, I've been lying there for some time afterwards, waiting for some lonely fuck to unceremoniously flip me over. Did I die with the boner? I can't remember. The violation never came. At some point, the lights were still turned off and everyone seemed gone. Still, that wasn't much of a comfort. I was waiting for a flashlight or something, perhaps from a security guard. Nothing. After an extended period of time, the lights finally came back on and someone eventually came by to zip me up. The sound of the cart's wheels, the familiar sound of a car door opening and closing, and I was off. I'm going to stop here. For something curious and unexpected is happening. I could swear to you that I'm feeling some sensation in my limbs, nothing substantial, more rudimentary needles and pins. I'm certain now that sometime through the greatest concentration, I may regain movement. I was an impatient man in life, but I can't think of any better way to learn patience than the tomb. I've been avoiding the issue, I admit, but the concept of eternity is a concept so fearsome to grasp, and here I am alone in the dark. Dying with a phobia can be no greater madness. A strange concept has come to mind. Am I alone? Of the billions and trillions that have died before me, did they find their great reward? I have seen no pearly gates or bubbling lava flows. Maybe there is no greater purgatory than flesh. I'll be honest. I'm scared to death. An inappropriate choice of words. What will become of me? I've read articles about sensory deprivation experiments and how the subject had experienced a disregard for the passage of time, where one thought they were in a tank for just a few minutes, but in actuality spent 6 hours unaware. That's a pleasant thought that I'll reach eternity before I know it. But there were others who felt they'd spent there and only been there for a few minutes. How long have I been here? The last thing I remember was being embalmed, needles and tubes and the loud sound of machinery. At least I think that's what it was. And then a man closed my eyes and everything went dark. But there was something else. What was it? Headphones. The man was wearing headphones, and I could hear what he was listening to. It was pop music, and the song that was playing was, oh no. A body should be host to all forms of maggots and worms, save for one. You can shut out all noise except those that are in your head, and no casket can drown that out. Even now, I have no idea if I've had my funeral yet. If I had, it wasn't an open casket because I would have heard something, crying or dancing or something. Whatever, I must have fucked myself up pretty bad. If there are others like me, I wonder how many graves are filled with angry or insane ghosts. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm doomed to become some sort of monster. I don't have any thirst for blood yet. I'm not hungry for human flesh. I can't see in the dark. Well, my eyes are closed, I guess. This is crazy. I'll work this shit out later. First, I have to get out there. I just hope they haven't buried me yet. That'll be a lot of digging. Christ, man. By the time I can start dancing, let alone dig or go on some sort of bloody rampage, I'll be deep in the ground anyway. One thing at a time. Did Dad show up for the funeral? Probably stood by a coffin, said something like, "You fucked up real good, son." I know, Dad. Then we go hug, but end up shaking hands, and after the reception, Dad and I go fishing by the dam. Mom probably sat in a chair, blubbering and spurting, wailing louder than anyone could afford. My ex-girlfriend secretly pissed off that it's a closed casket because now she can't palm that diamond earring she gave me a long time ago. Hell, the Undertaker has that. You get drunk in 3 minutes if you use the radio as a drinking game. Only rule to take a shot every time someone says baby or butt. Oh, this pisses me off. On the other hand, I'm making progress faster than I thought possible. My body is starting to warm up. I can see dim light beyond my eyelids. Maybe I haven't missed my funeral after all. Come on, Daddy. Sonny Boy is going to give you a great big hug. Is that smoke? That's my short story. I wrote that 2001, 2002. So I'm still proud of that one. I've read it a few times since, and I think it holds up. So thank you so much for everybody that stuck around and listened to my story. I have hold on a second. Hold on. My computer gave me a pop up for something. Yeah. The crud is back. This part reminds me of George Carlin. See, Seth, I'm gonna have Seth on in a future show at some point. I want him to be on here for a few things actually, but yeah. Anyway, oh wow, it's been 42 minutes. I didn't think that was so long. So anyway, I wanted to thank everybody who stuck around, and I'm gonna go make some tea, have some memories, and yeah, I'll have an episode more likely on Friday. But for those checking in late, once again, the Avengers number 52 is this month's giveaway. I will give that away at the end of the month. All you have to do is read the rules. I'm not going to repeat them again because I'm losing my voice again. But yeah, thank you everybody for stopping by, and also my book Bad Things is still on Amazon. I'm glad you stopped by, Seth. I guess that's it. I need to go make myself some tea, and I'll talk with everybody here pretty soon. So thank you so much for stopping by.